Welcome to the Den, the Dark Entertainment Network. I'm the Gothic Rose, and this is the dark tale of the day. Welcome to the Den, the Dark Entertainment Network. I'm the Gothic Rose, and this is a channel where the news meets conspiracy theories. It makes babies in my brain, and it comes out my mouth. If you like this type of content, be sure to like, subscribe, follow, and hit that bell. Welcome back, dear fiends of the Den. We are still talking the haunted history of Hollywood, and what's been on my mind for the last couple of weeks is lavender marriages. My last two hot mess of Hollywood that catch you up on current events have talked about them. I've talked about Rudolph Valentino from the past, and of course, the big news is now, will Deborah Lee Furness spill anything on Hugh Jackman? I also added in, is Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' marriage a lavender? And then it hit me that quite possibly Meghan Markle and Prince Harry might be in a lavender as well. I mean, you never know, because the yacht girls get their gifted upgrades, and a lot of times they are just wealthy gay men. With all the recent news of lavender marriages, and of course it's Pride Month, and we've got the Elon Musk Donald Trump breakup, and the MAGAs are going crazy because their daddies are done. And maybe, possibly, Deborah Lee Furness is going to spill the beans in a tell all book on her relationship with Hugh Jackman. Is that possibly a lavender? Was that a cover for Hugh Jackman's relationship with Ryan Reynolds, and Blake Lively just doesn't care if she's in a lavender? Or maybe that's why she flirts so much, because she's looking for something she doesn't get at home. And then I'm thinking maybe Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are in a lavender, because he could have gotten married a couple of times and didn't. She was definitely the right woman to step in and be his mom. Which brings me to the hypocrisy of Hollywood and its complicated relationship with the LGBT community and its representation. Because if there are still lavender marriages going on today, when being gay is far more accepted, when being in a same sex relationship is far more accepted, and that is much more progressive, and as everyone likes to call Hollywood woke, which if you really look at it, it is not. It's just the same regurgitated crap over and over again from the studio system, but done all wrong. Um, it just seems that being pro LGBT, you wouldn't want these men and women to be in these lavender marriages anymore. You would want to be more open. Maybe just say, yeah, we had this marriage, we have these kids, now we have this blended family. Modernize it that way. But they're still, modern Hollywood is still taking pieces of old Hollywood that they think still works, and it doesn't, because they're not following the rest of the studio system with their tightly controlled images, because everyone's image right now is spiraling out of control. So, as we know, the lavender marriages of Rudolph Valentino are definitely, something that was set up by the studios. And there are so many others that are rumored to be gay. Cesar Romero, Vincent Price was revealed to be bisexual by his daughter. Um, Barbara Stanwyck never officially came out, but she was rumored to have relationships with Joan Crawford, who I just saw her movie Straight Jacket on Svengoolie the other night. Fantastic. Marlene Dietrich and Tallulah Bankhead. Tab Hunter, who was a heartthrob of the 1950s, kept his secret for most of his life, and he came out in his memoir, Tab Hunter Confidential. It's said that James Dean was rumored to have relationships with men, including Rogers Brackett and possibly Marlon Brando. And Raymond Burr, the Perry Mason star, had a long-term relationship with actor Robert Benavides, which lasted until Burr's death in 1993. Now, with New Hollywood, they have rumors of George Clooney, Kevin Spacey, Jeremy Renner, Vin Diesel, Matt Damon, Leonardo DiCaprio, Jake Gyllenhaal, Bradley Cooper, and Tom Cruise. Now, again, this hiding who you are, hiding your sexuality, comes from the 1920s studio system to push these men forward as heartthrobs to women. Now, I'll be honest, I have absolutely no idea if knowing their sexuality or not in the 20s or any other decade would make or break a movie, but this is what Hollywood believed. I was watching a coming attraction for a documentary on Jane Mansfield, directed by her daughter, Mariska Hargitay. And she was standing in front of Jane Mansfield's old pink palace that was just crumbling, and the big, beautiful white gates with the iron gates were just falling apart. And it was just so sad because, she lived such an interesting and incredible life. And I cannot wait to see what Mariska Hargitay has found out more about her mom, who passed away when she was only 3 years old. But someone had said something to her about her appearance, Jane Mansfield, and her quote was, "I dress how the public pays to see me," or something like that. Like I'm paraphrasing, but the way that old Hollywood worked, the studios did have control. You did have to wear what they wanted you to wear, but their morality clauses, which is something that I think could use a little tweaking in Hollywood today, could, make a little bit of a comeback, because it's not to me about the LGBT part of it. It's about, are you lying? Are you not lying? Now, if you claim to be an authentic person and you're lying about this, but this is who you are, your persona as a celebrity, I guess I understand that. And I guess I understand that's why a lot of celebrities back in the day, it makes more sense to change your name if you're going to change your whole persona. But again, changing your entire persona to lie just for fame also has to take its toll. So here's what life was like in the 1920s if you were part of the LGBTQ plus community. So, while mainstream society largely condemned homosexuality and queer culture, it thrived in underground spaces like New York City, Chicago, and Berlin. These cities saw flourishing LGBT nightlife with drag balls and speakeasies and cabarets, providing safe havens for self expression. Harlem's famous Hamilton Lodge balls attracted thousands, including celebrities and socialites, making them one of the most visible queer events of the era. Of course, it was in Harlem. Despite this vibrant subculture, legal and social discrimination remained harsh. So many LGBT communities lived double lives. These people had double lives. They conformed to societal expectations by day and then embraced their identities in hidden communities at night. Now, the pansy crave. This was a brief period of fascination with effeminate men as drag performers, allowing some visibility, but it was fleeting. The pansy craze was very popular in the United States from the late 1920s to the mid 1930s. So, this was just a surge in popularity for drag performers known as pansy performers, which is quite derogatory now that I say it in this term. I apologize. So, one of the most famous figures of the era was Jean Mallon, dubbed the Queen of the Pansy Craze. Here we go again with that phrase, but it is for historical purposes. Mallon achieved mainstream success appearing in Hollywood films and Broadway shows before his career was tragically cut short by an automobile accident at just 25 years old. So this thrived in cabarets and speakeasies where Female impersonators were hired to perform for largely straight audiences, giving them broader social acceptance. Now, the era came to an abrupt end in the early 1930s due to increased censorship and crackdowns on LGBTQ visibility, particularly with the enforcement of the Hays Code, which restricted depictions of homosexuality in American cinema. Oh, history, look where we are again. Now, what is Hollywood going to do about it? Is Hollywood going to tell everybody who is in the closet, who is in a lavender, go ahead, let it out, let yourself be known, tell the world who you are, and let's stop hiding? Or are they going to keep pushing these lavender marriages and yacht girls to date them? Let me know what you think in the comments. I used to think if you're not careful, history will repeat itself, but it's just going to repeat itself anyway. It's just cycles of the same things over and over again, pretty much because no one learns a lesson. Hopefully, we are here today on the haunted history of Hollywood. Thank you always for joining me in the den. If you have any dark tales of Hollywood you would like to share, from movies to actors to directors, producers, anything you've got, email me at welcome to the den podcast at gmail.com. Thank you, dear fiends of the den. I appreciate each and every one of you who is part of this community. And if you do like this content, please share, like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell. Thank you for joining me in the den. The Dark Entertainment Network is here for all your macabre needs.